Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where last episode we designed this lifter to bring up our science lab. This is a much more economical situation than what we had before, and if I remember correctly, I think we had determined that this is pretty much what we needed at this point. So we can just launch this as is on the DSC launchpad. We'll make a tiny amount of money out of this, but it's mostly the tech points that we're after, to be honest. So let's get this into position. And let's update this. Yes, start tracking this craft. And that's the Spaceport Esperanza, which is our current target. We're going to want to... Where are we right now in the orbit? We are going to want to wait until we're on this side. So that is going to end up being a 60-degree heading. There we go. We want to set up our fuel transfer. So we want to flow in, and we want to flow out, and we want to flow out. Like that. Okay, so that's fine. We'll turn off our monoprop. There we go. And now we need to warp around until such a time as we are roughly in position to launch this. So we're going to be going northward here. And let's just continue. Let's warp a little faster than this. Okay, so right about... now-ish is pretty close. It's not exact, but it should do the trick. So we'll throttle up, and our staging is wrong. Amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end flight. I'm going to save this flight to save our timing. And we're going to now come in here. We're going to recover the craft. There we go. So our timing is saved, and now we can go in here and fix our staging, which is fundamentally wrong. So the problem here is the laboratory module is the wrong stage. We need to move this up to here. Otherwise, I think this is correct. So now we'll put this on the DSC launchpad. We should be already at the correct time-ish. We'll put this at a 60-degree heading. We'll turn off our monoprop. I'm going to put this at a 70-degree pitch. And we are going to set up our fuel flow. So in, out, and out. We'll throttle up, and off we go. So our thrust to weight is not the best in the world, that's for sure. But it does improve quickly. So that's great. So we're just going to accelerate on up here and get our apoapsis up to about 20 kilometers for now. I do want to be in orbital mode here. There we go. I can't believe this is actually apparently working. That's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And of course, the spaceport is on the opposite side of the world right now. We're going to have to do some warping in orbit. That's understood. I don't mind it. We just wanted to get into the right inclination here. So our apoapsis is currently about 12 kilometers, and we're going to continue to burn here until we hit about 20 kilometers. You can see our lateral velocity increasing somewhat, but it definitely needs to go up quite a lot more than this. We're now at about 20 kilometers apoapsis, so I'm going to put our pitch at 45. And we're going to burn there until we hit somewhere around 50 kilometers apoapsis. Currently at 35. Now 40. Now a 50 kilometer apoapsis. And I'm going to drop our pitch down to 30 degrees until we hit about 60. Here's probably fine. Let's put this at a 15 degree pitch. We're at 70 on the apoapsis, and let's bring this straight on down to 0. Beautiful. So we're going to be ditching these side boosters shortly. This is 80 on the apoapsis. 2, 1, 0. And off go those side boosters. And we've got about 35% fuel left here. Looks good. We're going to burn here until our apoapsis is about 100 kilometers, which is not going to be too much longer. We're up to about 90 right now. Our lateral velocity is looking pretty decent. 95 kilometers. 98, 99, 100 kilometers. Engine shut down. So we're going to continue to coast here. I'm still seeing some heating effects, so we're not going to ditch this fairing just yet. Although it will be soon. probably about now, but we're coasting right now. So it doesn't really matter that much. Let's go ahead and ditch it now, though. There we go. And next up at the apoapsis, we're going to be pushing up into orbit here. So something along the lines of this would be absolutely fine. Sure. A little more than that. Yeah, about here, but we can turn that down. This is going to be like 970 meters per second, and we've got 1.16. That looks great. Beautiful. Go ahead and execute that burn. So that's absolutely phenomenal. Basically perfect. So let's accelerate ourselves up into proper orbit now. That'll be great. And then we just need to get ourselves a rendezvous set up. How much DV are we going to have left? Probably enough for an inclination change, I would think. Okay, so we're in orbit at this point. And, I mean, this isn't a perfectly circular orbit, but it's definitely close enough. So we've got 195 meters per second left in this. That is certainly enough for an inclination change if necessary. 27.97. Oh, that's... hang on. We need to select the Spaceport Esperanza. 30.01 needs to be our target. Okay, we just passed the descending node. Let's go to the target ascending node, and let's set this to 30.01. That's going the wrong way. So we definitely overshot on the, or rather undershot on the timing a little bit. So we need to turn up the sensitivity here a little more. There we go. This is a little bit better. So 30.01. There we go. 125 meters per second. So we'll still have about 70 meters per second after this inclination change. I love it. Go ahead and do it. Okay. So let's light this up, and we're at 100% battery right now. I don't know if this has a solar panel on it, but we did not include one. Okay, so our current inclination is 30.01. That looks ideal. So at this point, it looks like our timing is really quite bad, and that's not surprising at all. We're probably going to have to, yeah, we're definitely going to have to take some orbits here. That's okay. So let's go ahead and warp around to here. Probably going to need another orbit, but let's see what this would look like. Yes, this is going to need another orbit for sure. At least one. Okay, let's see what this looks like now. Nope. Time for another orbit. So we're going to warp on ahead here, and let's see what we've got now. This is much better. This is pretty good, actually. So we're going to have to change our timing on this burn a little bit, but that is about right. 2.44 kilometers, 105 meters per second. I'm okay with that. So we're just going to go ahead and run this burn. This is going to be 108 meters per second, and we have 70.5 in this. So this is going to be a little bit awkward on the timing, but go ahead and burn it. So that's going to be, the majority is going to be from this stage. And then after that, we're going to have a tiny bit from this stage. Okay. There we go. So now you can see our accuracy is going to be medium, but we just need to get a few more meters per second here. So this should be reasonably fine. We've got 1.11 kilometers per second in this. So that is deeply, deeply unproblematic. Okay. So let's just let this burn time proceed. We're on 2x burn right now, and our thrust to weight is extraordinarily low. We knew this. We're going to have about another minute before we get this burn completed. We're going to have medium accuracy, but it's still going to be quite close. So that looks fine. We could even get rid of this burn if we really, really wanted to and just do this manually from here. But let's just get this additional 12 meters per second in. We're going to have to do that burn anyway at some point. So this seems reasonably fine for now. We've got about 15 seconds left. Okay, let's come out of the accelerated time. 5 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay, so that puts us at 3.24 kilometer separation, 107 meters per second. Noted. So 107 meters per second is going to take us a while, right? And that is absolutely understood. If we want to see how long of a burn time that would be, then we should plan a burn at the apoapsis here. And this would be 107 meters per second. This isn't going to be the correct direction, but I'm just checking how long of a burn it'll be. So that would be a 5-minute burn. Okay, so that is good to know. So that means that we want to go to about 17.2 minutes here. I'm actually going to take it to about 16.8 to buy us some extra time. And we're just going to head in like so. Let's turn on the nav ball, make sure we're in target mode, and let's move over to velocity retrograde. Okay, so this is pretty close together as it is. We can move this up to around here or so. And we can begin a bit of a braking burn. You can see this is moving apart right now. So to that end, I'm going to just position ourselves about here. This is indicating that we're burning too early. I just want to put us right on velocity retrograde and get this relative speed reduced somewhat. So this is going to be pushing this out a fair amount, and that's absolutely understood. Let's go to 2x here, because we're going to need to be braking for a while here. Our overall speed is shifting, and that's not surprising at all. We're going to want to put this out over here, or rather, our overall distance is going up. We're going to want to put this out over this way. We're not really counteracting it very much at this point. Now we're counteracting it a bit. Okay, this is looking better. You can see here, it's still moving further apart. This is because our thrust to weight is so low. But our closest approach is getting closer, and to be honest, we probably want to offset this a little bit more, like this. Yeah, this is looking better. We will bring it back closer to the retrograde node once we drop below like 1.5 kilometers or so. Yeah, we're down below 1.2 at this point. Let's bring this a lot closer here. Actually, let's just put this directly on velocity retrograde. And we'll burn here as we continue to drop this down. We don't need to further correct this right now, although we will need more correction. You can see time to reach is increasing, and that's exactly what we want right now. We're currently about 400 meters apart, which is not very far apart, considering we've burned only half of this velocity off. I'm okay with this going back up at this point, which is exactly what it's doing. We'll let that rise up a bit as we cut down our relative speed. We'll bring that back up to somewhere around 3 kilometers, and then we'll offset that. Yeah. So somewhere around here or so, I think. Let's see here. It's going to need to be out... Hang on, we're pushing. It's going to need to be out this way. I was going the wrong way for some reason. Yeah, this is still going further apart. Okay. And this is really ugly looking now. Okay, that's really, really awkward looking. Let's let this coast in a little closer. We're only 25 meters per second apart now, so let's coast into here, and let's see how this moves. Yeah, this is going to be much, much better to push now. So we're going to push from somewhere around here or so, and you can see that our relative speed, or rather our distance, is improving somewhat. Not as much as I'd like. We're going to need to be burning out over this way. Okay. Yeah, I definitely want this to be coming together a little bit more. But I also still want to be burning this down. Keep in mind, we have lots of spare fuel here. I'm really, really not concerned about the fuel amount. So let's bring this up over this direction a little further. You can see we're burning almost prograde here. Or almost towards target. Because we're so far apart here. So you can see the prograde marker is coming this way. In fact, we should probably be burning out over here and pulling the prograde marker in this way. Yeah. So we're still decreasing our speed. This is good. We're interacting with the prograde marker while decreasing our speed. I like it. That's very solid. So 12 meters per second apart at this point. 10 meters per second apart. We're now increasing our speed relative to the target. Okay. For the moment, I'm kind of okay with that. But that mostly means that we've overshot on this direction. You can see the prograde marker down here. I want to put us about here or so. Still increasing our speed. Okay. That just indicates that we're getting a lot closer here. So I'm just going to put us about here for now. Continuing to dial this in. 20 meters per second isn't so bad. Okay, let's just get this lined up here. About there or so. That's about the best we're going to get for now, and I don't care to have that be any better. We're now going to want to move around to retrograde and warp in a little closer. We're going to see some drift here, and that's exactly what we want to see. So let's go ahead and warp up over here. We did see some drift. I'm going to warp slightly closer. There's some more drift. Perfect. So now we're going to be pushing this node out over here and reducing our overall speed. Cool. So we're about 20 meters per second apart right now. Not too bad. Cool. And our closest approach is looking pretty decent at this point. However, we're still a little bit too far apart in terms of our delta V. So I'm just going to put us about here, where we're primarily working on reducing our velocity, not so much on our approach. Although there's some of that still happening. So we're down to 50 meters of separation. Okay, let's drop this right onto velocity retrograde at this time. And this is increasing our separation, but at this distance, that doesn't matter. Okay, so we can position this about here, but we mostly just need to head forward a little bit. We're just 2 meters per second apart right now. 315 meters is fine. Let's move to here. There we go. And we can push this retrograde node this way a little bit, but we don't have a lot of relative speed to work with, right? So I'm just going to put us around here or so. There we go. Like I said, we don't have a lot of relative speed to work with here, but we want to push this until we're over on this side anyway, so it's reasonably fine. So I'm watching for this to lose efficiency. Honestly, I think this is good. We can leave it like that. We can warp to about here. We're only 1 meter per second apart right now. Lock to retrograde. And where are we relative to the station? The station should be down here. Oh yeah, there it is. 50 meters away. Beautiful. Okay, let's do a retrograde burn here. Okay, are we actually... No, we're not. We need to continue to burn here very, very, very gently until this disappears. There. Engine cut. Okay, so now what we need to do is get this lined up. I'm going to wait until we have light. So we're going to drift a little bit over this time because we are in very, very slightly different orbits. But we can wait 10 minutes here. And we're going to warp up over to here. You can see that we did indeed drift about 100 meters, 150 meters. That's fine. I'm going to start us burning towards the target here very, very, very gently. So yeah, we're currently, this is our velocity retrograde marker. And so yeah, we're definitely moving away from the target a little bit. So we're going to burn this way, get that flipped around. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on our monoprop, and we're going to just adjust our velocity vector with our monoprop like that. Okay, So that seems decent for the moment. Now what we need to do is we need to select our target. And I'm planning for this to be docking inline, and I want that to be docking inline here. So we're going to set that as our target. And then we're going to hop over to this guy, and we're going to set this as our target. And we're going to point at target. This should be very, very easy for us to do, in theory, because this is all inline now. So that should be no problem whatsoever. We just need to wait for the docking port to actually get into position, and I'm going to go into 10x warp for that because of the lerp. Okay, so there we go. That'll be reasonable, and we want to be locked not to velocity retrograde, but to target. And you're already locked on target. That looks great. Okay, so let's head in again. Where's our monoprop? I'm not seeing a monoprop indicator here anymore. Okay, that's weird. Well, regardless, we're going to head in, and hopefully our monoprop is actually working, because I am planning on using monoprop here. Okay. Something is wrong here. We need to select, I think, this. I think it selected the wrong control surface, or the wrong control unit. Hang on. I want to grab this. I want to select the pod controlling this part. There we go. And if we throttle up, we can see that there's definitely a monoprop thruster going here. Hang on. We have the wrong thing selected. That's the laboratory module. This is the command disk. That's what we need. Okay. So that seems fine. We're going to accelerate in towards target here a little bit. And we need to set up our vectoring to be about like that. There we go. And I want to accelerate up a little bit more here. There, 1 meter per second. Cool. We're 100 meters out, so we're going to need some adjustments here for sure. That's fine. This is jiggling around a fair amount. I'm going to accelerate us slightly more in hopes of stabilizing the floating points here. Okay, so we're up to 2 meters per second right now. I don't know if that's too much. It might be. Okay. I don't think 2 meters per second will be too much. But we don't really have a way to brake unless, hang on, is there a control for that? In the monoprop controls. So it would be the flight craft. Okay, translate forward and backward is U and O. Okay, so it would be O. That is different from what it is in KSP. Yeah. So we can do a little bit of braking here, which we are definitely doing, and I'm just adjusting our velocity heading a little bit. Cool. About like that. So we just collided, and the question is, if we select the docking port here, how far away are we? Not very, that's for sure. And I want to lock to target. We just need to change our overall pitch a little bit. I'm going to turn monoprop off right now. And I'm just changing our pitch ever so slightly here. That seems to have put us into some sort of a docking mode. I saw it push us back. We've done that previously. This is so much easier when we have the correct forward vector. It's remarkable, isn't it? Okay, so we see docking attempting here. It is definitely attempting. That was the pushback. Now it's going to try again. Is our issue our yaw here? It might be a little bit of yaw. Okay, let's just line it up like that. And then line the radix module up like... What is going on with this? Okay. Lock to target. And there you go. So So we're currently at 8% docking. It pushed us back, and we've had that happen before. We just need to get this docked. The issue here, I believe, is this. This is wildly... Well, it's not really that off either. Just lock current heading. Okay. Now you should be right about there, but we're going to need to yaw this over to be about like that. And then the overall pitch, we want to drop to be about like that. I think we're a little bit off on this. Is this the right type of docking port? This is a type A and a type A. Okay, so that should be the right type of docking port. They both have the magnetic force of 100%. We can turn this up to a magnetic force of 120. We just need them to get lined up slightly better, right? And to that end, I want to definitely get this rotated a bit like so. Okay, how are we doing? 70% docked? Sitting at 78. It rejected. Now we're sitting at about 40% docked. Okay. Is the issue our pitch? It may well be. Let's set our target pitch to be about here. And our target yaw to be about here. I'm just using the nav ball for that right now. Okay. Let's head over here. And honestly, this is about correct. I don't know why this is offset here. But yeah, that's approximately correct. And this is moving a lot. Okay. We currently have a pretty decent tumble on our hands, it seems. And I'm wondering why. This is supposed to be still. And it has its monoprop on, but it's not actually using it. Hang on. 60%. And it gave up. Okay. That is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. Sitting at about 30. Eventually it'll get docked. It's trying again. Now we're bouncing back and forth. This is what we want to see. We want to see it release, push them apart, and then keep trying to bring it back together. We're just not quite exactly where we want to be. Let's turn off this and see about just letting magnetic force do what it's going to do. Yeah, you can see here, the problem is we're just not all that aligned. We need to move, like, up a little bit. So let's go to here, RCS, and see if... There we go. That docked us. We just needed to get a little bit of RCS to boost us up this way, a teeny tiny bit. So we're now docked, and we need to detach the module, which we need to activate this part. There we go. And now we need to deorbit this stage. I think it's finally unbugged, at least for the time being. So we need to move this guy over to be velocity retrograde. This is going to push us away from this station a little bit, and that's absolutely fine. That's what we want. We need to safely deorbit our stage. And yes, we imparted a little bit of momentum into the Spaceport Esperanza. That's fine. Let's just orient this to be velocity prograde. And I guess it has to be velocity retrograde because it does it the same for both of these, which is very awkward if you have ships that are designed in opposite directions. At any rate, we need to deorbit this, and let's get out of here. So we just need to bring this back down into the atmosphere, and this should complete the contract without any save game editing, which is huge. I don't know what caused it to start working, but I'm not going to complain, and I'm not going to investigate, because I don't want to break it again. Wonderful. So we just need to bring this down to like 80 or so, and then this contract should complete. So we're down to 180 right now. You can see our thrust to weight is 0.18 in this stage. It's not fantastic, but it'll do. Down to 150, 140, 130, 120, 110. Yep, should be getting credit for this very shortly. There we go. And the contract completed. We made money off of it too. So we're going to destroy that craft. We do not need to keep it around. And that's wonderful. We actually completed a spaceport contract without the contract breaking. That's incredible. I love it. It is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're probably going to... I don't know if we're going to do more of these. We're probably going to do some stuff down here, like a Brigo landing or something. We could definitely use some tech points. This would only be 10. We need a lot of tech points. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. We'll see what the options are. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy Bagar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.